Hey everyone, my name is Cara Warren, and I am the host of Cutting the Curd and also Isigny Sainte-Mère rep, and I love Ingredient Insiders, and you're listening to them right now.
This is Ingredient Insiders. I'm John Magazzino.
And I'm Andrea Parkins.
On each episode of Ingredient Insiders, we'll be talking with chefs and food writers about their favorite ingredients.
We then speak to the producer of that ingredient to learn its history, how it's made, and why chefs love to use it in their restaurants.
Today's ingredient happens to be one of my favorite ingredients. I think it's one of your favorite ingredients too.
I feel like it's one of everyone's favorite ingredients, John.
We're going to be talking about butter, not just any butter though. We're going to be talking about French butter from Isigny Sainte-Mère in Normandy, France with Cara Warren, who's an amazing expert on cheeses.
Yep, she actually has her own podcast called Cutting the Curd.
Yep.
So we're going to be speaking about this amazing butter that's been produced since the Middle Ages in northern France. The cows in this region are eating pasture. It is making the butter this delicious, rich yellow color. They even make one with fleur de sel in it, so it has those like crunchy crystals that you just want to smear it on anything and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Pastry chefs are using it. Savory chefs are using it. I mean, I know you got to go and visit, right, John? Yeah,
amazing place. Stunning in the heart of Normandy, right near the D-Day beaches from, if you are a history buff. It's just an incredible product. When I think about this butter, I just want to like curl up with a baguette and a glass of wine and eat a whole
that sounds perfect.
Big chunk of it.
They're also making it, which in the past few years, especially since COVID, they're making butter sheets now.
Yes.
Which is a huge labor saver for pastry chefs who are making laminated doughs to make things like different types of croissants and pastries. So it can go right into the sheeter. So it'll be really interesting to learn about kind of the food service side, the restaurant side. I'm just so excited to learn all about this butter.
Let's call this the French butter episode.
With Cara Warren from Isigny.
All right.
This season of Ingredient Insiders is brought to you by Isigny Nuts, a name synonymous with exceptional quality and taste in the world of gourmet nuts and dried fruits. Whether you're crafting a Michelin star-worthy dish or just whipping up something delicious in your home kitchen, Isigny's premium selection is designed to inspire your culinary creativity. Elevate your dishes with the rich texture and flavors that only Isigny Nuts can offer. From toasted almonds, perfect for garnishing, to pistachios that add a crunch to your salads, Isigny has everything you need to enhance your recipes. Don't miss this chance to impress your palate and your guests with Isigny Nuts, the chef's choice for quality and flavor. Are you ready to elevate your kitchen creations to Michelin star status? Introducing Isigny Sainte-Mère butter, the holy grail of French gastronomy. Crafted with precision and passion in the heart of Normandy, France, each velvety slab is a masterpiece waiting to transform your dishes. Whether you're sautéing, baking laminated doughs, or simply slathering it onto a crusty baguette, Isigny Sainte-Mère butter adds the unmistakable touch of luxury to every bite. So fellow chefs, unleash your culinary creativity and let Isigny Sainte-Mère butter be your culinary muse. Bon appetit.
This episode is in partnership with the Chef's Warehouse and produced by Gotham Production Studios in New York City. All right, Andrea, we got a nice episode, a big day. We've got one of our favorite people in the studio in New York City. We've got Cara Warren from Isigny Sainte-Mère in the north of France, in Normandy. She's the national sales manager for America. Am I saying everything right so far?
You've nailed it so far. Yes, good job.
Okay, thank you.
I haven't wanted to say anything because I didn't want to mess him up.
And she also has she's the host of a podcast dedicated to cheese called Cutting the Curd.
Welcome,
Cara.
Thank you both for having me on this show. It's like one of my favorite things to hang out with you guys, and now to talk cheese. I mean, can't be any better.
This is
than
awesome.
That. I'm so stoked.
Let's just start right at the beginning. I would go with your question because I think you took the words out of my mouth.
How did you get into cheese?
Yeah, so I wasn't serious about college, like most people in the food business. And so I did hospitality management at City Tech, so I'm a local girl. And right after that, I went to Murray's. I saw like an ad on, I think, Craigslist. and I applied there, and they accepted
Before
me.
Craigslist was like scary.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Thank you for complimenting me just now. That was
I just wanted to give you like props that, there was a time when
yeah.
What was there?
I found like roommates on Craigslist.
Was there an ad in Craigslist that said like single young female, please come
Missed
down,
opportunity or whatever?
Meet in Greenwich Village for cheese.
Yes. Do you like mozzarella?
Yes.
Please come here. Yes. Okay, so I was
Potential red flag.
Yeah.
Andrea saved you.
Oh. All right, girl. So I went to Murray's. They loved me. I loved them. I was a cheesemonger there for a few years. But then I kind of worked the New York City cheese scene. I did Stinky. I did Green Grape Provisions. I actually wanted to get out of cheese, but then it was like, okay, I need to pay rent. And they were like, Green Grape was like, do you want to be the buyer here? And I was like, okay. So then it pulled me back in. And after I started curating the cheese counter there, because I love doing that, it's one of my favorite things. I realized I didn't want to work retail hours. You guys know how it is. After a certain point, you want to break into something that better fit for you.
Were you a cheese lover before you answered the ad at Murray's? Did you grow up like, what was the cheese in the pantry at your home?
You're a deep digger.
Yeah, of course. Well, we gotta know.
So I grew up in Brooklyn. So for us around the corner, there was an Italian deli. And so, fresh mozzarella was sitting on top of the counter. There was prosciutto. It was very normal for my mom to be like, here's $10, go get us a bowl of mozz. And so, I
love your mom.
Yeah, she's old school Brooklyn. You would like her. She's dope.
What part of Brooklyn?
Not crazy tough, Park Slope. So, but in the 80s,
Respect,
but it was a little dicey. I'll put that out there. But we just always ate a little bit of cheese. I didn't eat French cheese though, and I got to that with Isigny, like right out of Green Grape. My colleague and work husband, I like to call him Benoit de Vuitton. Full name shout out. I
love Benoit.
He found me. It was like 2 days later. I talked to like 2 people, and they were like, "Yeah, you should talk to this girl." And before I knew it, I was getting interviewed by the CEO of Isigny and Benoit, and went out to dinner. And they were like, "So welcome to the team." And I was like, "Wait, welcome to the team. We didn't even talk numbers yet, guys. What are we doing? What are we doing?" And then Benoit was like, "Well, there's more fish in the sea, Cara." I'm like, no. All right. But anyway, the good news is I'm now 8 years with Isigny, and I love it. It's a dairy cooperative from Normandy. So it's like got the best cows, the best milk. And one of the things that I love that Chef's Warehouse sells is mimolette. I know people out there have looked at it, thought it was a cantaloupe, thought it was like a pumpkin, but it's this bright orange, naturally cave-aged cheese. And it's kind of got this umami zestiness that's really fun and cool. Do you guys get a lot of people looking? You mentioned something.
People love mimolette.
In my career, we've always had mimolette around, and it comes in several ages. Yep. The one at Chef's Warehouse is 12 months. It's a year aged, and it's aged on wood. And it develops this like mold on the outside that then kind of develops into this cool porous rind that's very like craggy looking. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just like, it looks like a moon rock when you look at it a little bit. It does. That's kind of cool. And so once you are able to cut it open, which I feel like is the big thing that I want to like show to people. Like I have a how-to video on YouTube, which I know is also super curd nerdy. Mm-hmm. You just use Parmesan knives, though, Charter knives to do it because it's so aged, it's so hard that you don't want a long knife to like wedge it back and forth and like hurt yourself.
I don't know that I've ever seen a full form of mimolette. Like
really?
What size or how big is a mimolette?
It's a 6-pound bowling ball.
6 pound, okay.
I want to say, yeah. It's it could be a weapon if you wanted to hurt someone. I feel like it's but it's a very cool cheese. It's a classic cheese of France, of northern France.
If you haven't had, I mean, how do you? It's so delicious. I was going to say, can you
describe it for us?
So the way I would describe it is, to me, it's zesty, kind of very salty. We brine it for 3 days, so the water soaks all the way to the core. And then as it ages out, it gets that really cool earthiness. So it has like a mineral, earthy, zesty, and then super nutty, like snackable. Mm-hmm. And then you have that bright orange thing that's happening.
It's 100% cow's milk.
Yes, 100% cow's milk.
And how does it get that beautiful color?
Annatto, but so with the cave aging, it just gets like a brighter orange that, I mean, if you're into autumn and Halloween, it can be like nice, expressive, good on cheese plate.
I feel like mimolette is having a moment now in the world of cheese, or it's kind of like it's up and coming.
Mm-hmm. I think these very aged, like caramely note cheeses.
I compare it to a Beamster.
Yeah, an aged
Gouda. Which kind of also showed up on the scene not that long ago.
But like the texture's slightly different. Like I feel like Beamster is more on. No slams against Beamster. I love that team. It's more waxy and like this is more toothsome and granular. Like you could replace a Parmesan with this.
Yeah.
That's what I would honestly say.
It's like more like if you, aged in a way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's just
or not aged, but like the less
like no crystals, but like again the texture of Parmesan. So it's like
it's a harder cheese.
So it's just it's just a hard cheese. So like for melting, you wouldn't melt it. You would zest it like a lot of it, and then it would have that impact, that flavor.
Okay. So because I am a Mimolette novice of sorts, even though I love to eat it. I've eaten it straight up. Is it something that people are cooking? You call it
cheese candy.
Yeah. Are people cooking with it?
Totally. Yeah.
What are you using Mimolette for?
So I have a friend, shout out to Rachel Freer in Ithaca, New York. She's doing a ramen with it where she takes like a whole wheel. So it's kind of a fun idea. And she like a younger age even and plops it into water and boils it down.
Wait, what?
Like for like wheel, the umami?
The whole wheel of cheese, not just the rind.
She messes. She does the rind, the paste, everything goes into this ramen, and then she pulls it out, but it has like, I mean, a really cool depth of flavor that I'm constantly like, and she has made basically this cool pop-up dinner where she takes all different cheeses and does like Asian influences, where she's like made like cool sushi with like a goat cheese and nori. The Mimolette ramen is like her signature dish. So yeah, there's a play with it that you can do.
Interesting.
Yeah. Let's go back. She's just taking the whole ball of cheese and putting it in water or in broth.
No. She's making a broth.
She's making a broth. This is her vegetarian broth.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a sick move, actually.
I've never. Totally sick.
I mean, I've heard of you put the Parmesan rind or cheese rind in there.
Kind of in that same.
But it's in that family, exactly, John.
Yeah,
that's totally it. So yeah, it's again, there's a lot of creativity that can be played with it. I think, like you're saying, it's having a moment. So if we can just like get it in front of people's eyes and have them or taste it somewhere, like Chef's Warehouse.
I just think it sounds. It's like, isn't it a great name, Mimolette?
Mimolette, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you send me the video on how to open?
Yes, and maybe we'll do an updated one together for Chef's Warehouse because I feel like
we could put it on our website.
Yes,
teach our customers.
Yeah, no, it's so cool, and also like it's a pride. Like going back to my cheesemonger roots, it's kind of a source of pride to be able to cut open cool wheels of cheese. Mimolette is one of those because it's round and not super heavy. It can move around, so like if you can open that up and do it well, it's such a cool thing to do, like the Parmesan, like the big cloth-bound cheddars. They're,
And I always watch those videos of people cracking open parm on Instagram.
It's so much fun,
right?
Yeah. It's a good workout, but also fun. Yeah.
Is Mimolette native to a certain region in France?
So it's from the north of France, but really I would say adopted it. We're like the primary producer now at Isigny Sainte-Mère. We it's a dairy cooperative, so it's like 600 farms. All the farms only have like 100 cows. So it's all local families in Normandy that they're the members, they're the owners of the cooperative. So like we listen to them, and so we make Camembert, we make Brie, Pont l'Evêque, all the terroir-based Normandy cheeses, and then Mimolette as well. So it's a cool. Actually, it's a great company, and then we also do butter. How could I forget?
I mean, when I think about
we haven't talked about the butter.
When I think about Isigny, the first thing that pops in my head is that butter. Incredible butter, like this Normandy butter that is.
Right. So going into terroir and going into like the location of Normandy, we're one of the people that make the Beurre de Sydney appellation. So we're AOP protected, and it's basically that means that marshland. So we're pretty much very close to the sea. I don't know if everyone knows where Normandy is. It's in the northwest. It's right by the English Channel. And there's like these very particular grasses and freshwater and saltwater that all meet there. And these cows get to chill and graze on this grass, which makes the best milk for cream butter cheese. And so with that, we have an unbeatable quality. Like I could do a Coke Pepsi challenge with anyone, butter to butter, and ours would always win. Hands down. I'm never afraid about that.
You say that with tons of confidence.
Total confidence.
You just heard it. Have you ever had the Isigny with the sea salt crystals? And there's a little crunch in this. I mean,
exactly. So
it's crazy good.
Yeah. It has.
How come you didn't bring it back?
Yeah. Where's
you know what? That just means I need an invite back, guys.
Yeah. Exactly.
Sure. You're right. Next time.
But you also do what I think is really cool is the sheets.
Yes. So
that is like the best
for bakers. Absolutely.
I mean, like chefs that were buying like a 50-pound block and then like having to to cut it to sheet, dough. Like,
How does a case of sheets come? Talk to us about butter sheets.
So it's 10 sheets, 10 1 kilo sheets in a case. And so basically, the chefs use it, for laminating dough for croissants. But you have like the best flavor through this butter, and it caramelizes, and it's pliable. It melts the right way. It's like you could say it's like the Mercedes-Benz of butter sheets. It just makes your life easier, and everything's better. Even like to the end users, to the customers, to people that are buying the croissants. They go into the store, they eat one of these croissants versus another one that doesn't use the butter. It's night and day. Again, it's just you're putting the money in the right place.
Yep.
And it's a game changer. It just makes your life better to have our butter in when you bake with it.
It is hands down the choice of some of the best bakers on the planet.
There's literally a list.
I don't want to name drop.
No, I'm not going to name drop, but I'm going to say like
name drop.
You want to name drop?
I don't want to name drop, but I am going to name drop.
Let's do it.
The reason I am is because 2 days ago I was in a review with the Thomas Keller Restaurant Group, and their sales had really grown quite rapidly in the last 12 months at Bouchon Bakery. And again, I'm going to name drop Bouchon.
Well, yeah, there you go.
And the chef had asked me, Thomas had asked me, he said, why are our sales through the roof at Bouchon Bakery? And I said, you started using Isigny butter from Chef's Warehouse. And he said, amen, because it's the best butter in the world. And a chef like Thomas Keller, who's got multiple Michelin 3-star restaurants and an incredible bakery, that's what's in those croissants.
And that speaks volumes.
So we can talk about a lot of other customers who buy it, but let's talk about the top of the food
Would you
pyramid.
like to name drop now?
I mean, I wasn't going to, as clear as John did.
Did you know that?
I actually wasn't on that one. That one I didn't know. That's impressive.
Yountville,
That's another feather in
California.
your hat.
I was just going to say, like, in terms of, like, best croissant list, like, there's one that just came out recently, and I don't know if I need to mention this other group that put it out, but out of the top 10, 8 of them were using our butter.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, guys.
If you're a baker or a pastry chef, we're giving you other people's secrets right now.
It's a big secret.
This is the butter to use. So Isigny butter, Isigny cheese is amazing, but a whole other part of your life we mentioned earlier is you have a podcast called Cutting the Curd, which is all about cheese.
Yeah, that's my side hustle.
Talk to us.
So Cutting the Curd, it was started by Anne Saxelby and her producer Sophie, or co-host Sophie, back in 2009. So basically, it's over 10 years now. It's a legacy cheese program.
Yeah.
I mean, I will leave it and someone else will take it. It's like the late night show of cheese. I like to compare it, I just feel so fortunate to be on it with my co-hosts Jessica Kesselman and Joe Salonia.
Love you, Jessica.
And we interview cheesemakers, trenders, like different topics, educational, sustainability, probably similar to what you guys do, but with a super hardcore cheese focus. And it's great. I mean, I still learn from every episode, and it's a lot of fun. A little bit of work, but a lot of fun too. So, and I'm stoked for ACS. I think we're going to do a live podcast out there. That's American Cheese Society Conference in Buffalo, New York in July this year. And yeah, I mean, we try to make it as 101 cheese friendly as possible, but it's also industry heavy. So it's like, if you're in cheese industry or just a cheese enthusiast, we feel like it's a safe space for you.
Where does your cheese love lie? Like, do you eat everything? Do you eat cheeses from all over the world?
Have you met cheeses you don't like?
I don't like ones that are shitty and bad, like that have gone
bad,
that
good.
are ammoniated.
That's fair.
No, you know what I mean? Like, because I think some people don't actually know what good quality fresh cheeses taste like. So when they serve it to me, they're like, "Oh, it's the best fucking cheese," and it's actually overripe and ammoniated. I feel so sad for them.
It's funny because I still remember that first time I bought a piece of cheese, and it was, I don't know if it was camembert or whatever, and I'm like, oh, so much, and I just taken it home from the shop. And it was a pretty good purveyor in New York City who sold this to me, and I'm like, oh my God, is this how it's supposed to smell? Yeah. And then I took a piece, and I'm like, this can't be right.
Or when you open the fridge and it smacks you in the face.
I didn't know enough.
That's also okay. I mean, I understand what you're saying. There's like camembert that I sell a lot of camembert, so I have samples in my fridge, and I really need to be better to my partner and get a sample fridge, so she doesn't have to deal with that cheesy smell.
Punch you in the face.
I mean,
it's the ammonia that freaks me out.
Like,
that's a no-go.
That's just gone.
Yeah, that means I mean, some is okay, but not too much.
I have some questions about, now that we're into the subject.
Go for it, John.
Yeah.
When we buy, and I'm speaking on behalf of all of the cheese buyers of North America, but at home, when we buy cheese, should we be ripening it at home?
No.
Or
No,
never?
no.
Not at all.
That's a terrible idea. I mean, it's only good for wine, I would say.
Uh-huh.
And even then, I think I've heard it can be bad. No, for cheese, you should buy the amount you need for your party and let it come to room temp and buy it for the day of if you can or the day before.
So no aging at home at all?
No,
Okay,
because
I
it
like
dries out. It gets the plastic flavor.
You're probably not doing it in like I hate to, no offense.
No, well, I'm asking
But like in
the
like the right
extras.
environment, right?
Yeah, exactly. Cheese is hardcore environmental. So like it'll pick up whatever flavor it's near and it's porous.
Yep.
So the idea that you would want to keep something like that in your fridge is that's a no-go for me. Yeah,
Great. I'm glad to hear that answer.
I'd rather people buy half pound or a pound, if it's retail, if it's everyday consuming, I'd rather them do it like that. Whereas for a restaurant, buy as much as you need for the week or whatever it is, but don't.
Nobody should be doing the ripening game because I feel like there's
Yes.
times where I go to, and even I go to some really nice cheese shops, and they'll be like, "This is perfectly ripened brie."
If it's if it's not cut,
Yeah.
that's fine. But if once it's cut, that's a living, breathing cheese. That's gonna lose its essence.
Got it.
I have a question.
Shoot.
Should you refrigerate cheese?
Yes, to like when you have it before your party, but like again, when you're serving it, temper it 4 hours. I take it out the morning of. That's just my trick. I'll have coffee and I'll take out the cheese.
Because I've just I've been in cheese shops where like it's out all day.
Oh, well, that's fine. You're talking about like Goudas and cheddars and things like that, but they will lose butter fat sitting out. They will get messy. They will tear.
I
As we say,
refrigerate all my cheeses, even like hard cheeses like Parm and all that.
Yeah.
But then
I do too, but I'm just curious, like when I go into these cheese shops and I'm like, okay, well, I'm here at 5:00
Yeah.
p.m. This has obviously been sitting out all day.
Oh,
like,
you're offended it's been on the counter all day.
No, I'm not offended. I'm wondering, like,
when you take it home, should I re-refrigerate it or keep it out?
Did they ever refrigerate it? I have all these,
This goes to, again, serve time. If you're going to have a party that night, just leave it out.
Okay.
If it's the next day, maybe leave it in your fridge. That way it doesn't, because it's going to emit a certain smell. It's going to release butter fat. So it's just timing.
Okay.
Like everything in life. It's just
everything is about timing.
It's just about timing.
Andrea, get all your cheese questions ready right now.
Yeah.
Let's
throw them at me.
We got the cheese
I have
expert
another
here.
one. Storage.
Okay. Yeah, this is a good question.
So,
yeah.
Are there different storage methods for different types of cheese?
Yes. Well, yes and no. So there's that's a really good question. I personally stick to cheese paper for most things though.
What is cheese paper?
Oh, really?
You don't know that pretty French paper
I know what it
with
is.
like the little
I'm asking questions
for our
listeners,
listeners.
John.
Sorry.
got
You're
Like
right.
when I asked today what a dark and stormy was.
Oh.
Of course I know what a dark and stormy
God
is.
dang. All right.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
Oh okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. I have fun listening to you two. You guys make a good show. So the paper.
Did you hear that, John?
We got one fan.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I'm
So the cheese paper. Back to cheese paper. So exciting. It's kind of like a parchment paper, but then the film is on the inside, so it
Seems like a little like waxy on the inside, sort of, kind of.
It's not just parchment paper. You do have to get like from your Whole Foods or whoever has Formaticum or whatever it is out there. Yeah.
How do you feel about plastic wrap?
Yeah, that's not good.
Not good.
Not good.
Non-porous.
It suffocates
What about
the cheese.
foil?
Tin foil.
I've heard foil could be good.
I've heard about that for blue cheeses, but honestly, I stick to cheese paper. It's just
Okay.
it will dry out in the foil.
Okay, fair.
I think I have done that experiment.
Yeah, because I know like Roquefort and like
yes,
Gorgonzola and all those, they come in foil.
Right, but it's like a super thin. It's not heavy
Yeah.
duty. It's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Yeah, no, I stick to cheese paper, and sometimes I'll use like little plastic bins.
I want to.
Yeah.
Cheese paper only?
Yeah. Well, actually, wow, she's good. I do cheese paper.
Sometimes
I'm good.
Sometimes she's pretty good.
All right.
Once a season. This is it.
You
We
guys are
might even
learning all
edit this part out because we don't want her to.
These are all my tricks.
I don't get a complex.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. These are all my tricks. The paper and then a Ziploc and
Okay.
one type of cheese, like one category of cheese.
Okay.
Don't put a blue and a brie together because the blue will
Absorb that aroma flavor.
Not only that, the mold will probably jump too.
Oh, really?
If it's ambient in a plastic Ziploc, there's lots of mold with cheese.
Yeah.
So things will
Jumpy
start.
cheese.
Yeah, the molds will start to jump if you leave them close enough to each other.
I want to go back to Andrea's question that you answered for us, but I want to get further clarification.
Okay.
We know you don't like shitty cheese,
I do not.
but is there any other good cheeses that you just don't like? And I'm going to throw that to you, Andrea, too. Are there any cheeses you don't like?
Yes, I think
Cara, you go first. Is there any cheese you don't like?
Well, that's a tough one. I mean, a very bitter goat cheese, maybe.
Okay,
maybe.
fair enough.
I'm really
Andrea?
scared. I'm
Yeah.
terrified right now.
What do
to
you?
talk about this.
Oh, she doesn't like blue cheese. I know this. I
No,
knew the answer.
you don't like blue cheese?
Is that
Okay,
right?
so I don't.
Oh,
okay,
that's why. How can I talk to you now?
How do you know?
Hold
What is
on.
she doing in the room with us?
I know.
Should
It
she
gets
allow her?
worse. It gets worse.
Okay,
Oh,
I
no.
just
And I
banged
always
my
struggle.
knee.
It's funny. I was talking to our amazing marketing manager, Katie, about this, who's outside. I said, I never know sometimes, like, how honest should I be? I don't like blue cheese, goat cheese, or sheep smoked cheeses.
Wait, so you're left with cow's milk cheese?
Yep. I
Thank
will
you
eat
for joining Ingredient Insiders. And on our next episode, my new host,
Cara.
Cara, will be
Okay.
talking to us about cheeses.
I will eat like any cow's milk cheese. Like any. Like you name
But
it.
I just feel sad for you. You just threw out like 2/3 of the cheese.
I've tried. Like so I didn't grow up eating cheese.
Okay.
Okay. Like I grew up in a very, and I love you, Mom.
I feel like we have to do a cheese shop tour. This is ridiculous.
So like when I first tried it in culinary school, I was like, whoa, like what is this?
No cheese whatsoever.
And I don't like lamb either, which I think that goat cheese tastes.
I agree with what you're about to say.
I think goat cheese and lamb tastes like the animal smells.
I'm not disagreeing
it's
with
like
that.
so
But I love lamb.
barnyard for me, and I've tried. Like it's not like
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I've never tried it or given it a shot.
Yeah.
I just don't enjoy it.
No, but like a super fresh chev. Sorry,
Listen,
there's
I
nothing
will-
better, especially in
if
the
you take me
springtime.
on
We're
a
coming up
cheese-
to the season.
Yeah.
Also, there's seasonality to cheese. This is your time to get a fresh
So
goat
why don't you
cheese.
do this? Send me a list of what I should try.
No, we're gonna go to a shop and eat
Yeah.
it together. So I have proof.
Okay.
You're not just hiding
A
in your
little
house,
like a little
like pretending to try cheese for me.
I find it hard to believe if we didn't tell her that, to your point about a young goat cheese,
Yeah.
we put it on a little piece of toasted baguette and we put like crack of black pepper and a drizzle of olive oil.
See, you're so nice. It has to be straight up for me.
No.
I
She's
have
like a kid. We got to
can I ask
disguise
quick,
it a little
no,
bit.
can I tell a
So-
quick story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Really quick.
Please.
Jen Gordon,
Yes.
my dear friend and sales
Yes.
rep.
Yes.
We went to the Whitney to see the Warhol exhibit.
Okay.
And
Yes.
at the time, Danny Meyer had a restaurant in the Whitney.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
And we went for brunch. I ordered the burger.
Yes.
Didn't say it, just said burger. I took one bite and I was like, this is a lamb burger.
Yeah.
I gave it to Jen. I said, try it. She's like, I don't taste lamb. I'm like, I can't eat this. Server comes over. I said, is this a lamb burger? She's like, 10% lamb.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
I could taste it.
That's fine.
That's creepy, but we're talking about cheese.
We're
I don't
talking
care
about
about
cheese.
I don't care about your meaty burgers that have
All
a
right,
hint of lamb.
fair. Cara, we're going to go on a cheese tasting.
Thank you.
Now wait. Okay, so I get the. All right.
Finally.
You know what? I'm gonna.
Are there any cheeses you don't like, John? Because
Yeah, sorry, John.
I'm sucking the air out of the
No, I
Yeah,
want to go
I'm
back
sorry.
and talk about what Andrew doesn't like. I really think that I love just about every cheese I've ever met. There's very few I can't think of that I don't like. The stinkier, the better for me.
Agreed.
I love the blues. I mean, intense flavored blues. I love the goats. I love, if there's cheeses I don't like, maybe it's like things that are like boring. And to Cara's point, I don't like shitty cheese.
Mm-hmm.
But like a really boring cheese, like a bland young cheddar, I'm
I
not
got one
very
for you.
interested in. Yeah,
now
go
you're
ahead.
bringing one to mind.
Go ahead.
Overly stabilized brie.
Don't like.
I
Yeah,
don't
it
like
has no
it.
flavor.
It's like
It's like
soft
plastic,
plastic,
yeah.
It
waxy.
drives me nuts.
Waxy is the
and not
thought.
enough people realize that brie can have texture,
Yeah.
that it can have flavor.
What's your favorite brie?
Well, of course, it's
Wait,
brie
okay.
Isigny. Come on, duh. Sorry. No, it is though. Actually, it's really good. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at the other ones on the market, it's actually has flavor and isn't just like a straight up butter
Yep.
taste. Like a lot of these bries now aim to be like triple cremes.
Yep.
Where it's just over 72% butter fat
Mm-hmm.
and butter. Our brie, we grow the rind. It's really a well-made brie. Yeah. Sorry to the other ones that
I'm
are just
sorry.
like a
Yeah.
basketball and.
I'm even thinking like about other, like I'll eat pepper jack cheese. I'll eat a
I like
pepper
pepper
flavored
jack.
cheese.
I'm okay with the chili flavor, like the hatch
Yeah.
chili cheese Gouda thing.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But give me a wasabi one.
So what
Yeah,
makes
no,
it?
I've never had. I didn't even know that existed.
Oh
no.
yeah, there's somebody
Oh,
in the
no.
Gouda universe that's doing like green colored
No,
cheeses, and that just
I've
frightens
not
me.
seen that. No.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Yeah, I
But
don't
what
know.
makes chili okay and other things not in your world?
Balance,
realistic flavor maybe and balance.
Yeah.
Things that are faux flavored.
Do
I
you like
don't
mustard
want.
seeds and cheese?
I can do that, but that's classic to the Netherlands.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
you went down the right lane there. Yeah,
Yeah.
very smart. Yeah.
So
That's- yeah.
yes, that like I accept that.
Smoked cheeses are also okay in my book.
When they're done right.
They're very hard to balance.
It depends on the cheese. Like, I'm not a smoked mozzarella fan, but like the Grafton smoked cheddar to me is fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
I just want to keep talking about cheese.
What does it mean?
So Isigny, so John had mentioned the village name when we were talking earlier. It's Isigny Sainte-Mère, but basically it's two cooperatives that came together to make one larger. It was first developed in Isigny was 1909, and Sainte-Mère is like 1932, and they merged together to be competitive.
Got it.
Which is funny. In France, to be competitive, two dairy cooperatives became one. That's just classic France, I feel like. And yeah, so our history is just like Normandy, France, and the farmers and everyone going out to milk their own cows and make extra money by selling it to this creamery that would make the classic French cheeses. But to say it is kind of fun, right? Like Isigny Sainte-Mère. Sounds like Disney. You drop the G. Easy, Isigny. Yeah, I
said it wrong for a very long time.
People think the G is supposed to. I mean, obviously, we're in the States. You read it, and it's like, oh yeah, no, but it's Isigny Sainte-Mère. It's a lot of fun to kind of play with and think about. Now, I'm also obviously not a French speaker, so this has like been a lot of fun for me as a Brooklyn girl to work for a French company.
Isigny.
ISI. That's like a fun. Thing there, John. Isigny.
This is cheerleading.
Yeah.
I guess phonetically you'd say Isigny.
God.
I said Isigny.
Way to murder it. I love it.
Well, I'm just saying, who knows?
Yeah. No, that's kind of funny. I love it.
Let's go back and talk more about cutting the curd. So,
sure,
what do you talk about on cutting the curd? Like, obviously cheese, but where do you how deep do you get into the episodes?
I mean, it gets technical. Are you talking about like for a technical cheese perspective, or
because a lot of our listeners are restaurateurs and chefs, and I'm if they love cheese, they've got to listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
Tell them, let's give a little idea of what they're going to hear on an episode.
So generally, we go through the history of the cheese a little bit. We go through the family lineage, how they came to be a cheesemaker, and then we'll also go into the make process pretty intensely, depending on the person, how comical they want to be. But some are very, I try to make it as fresh as I can, but we'll break it down per step from milk to the end of, after the affinage and then we also go into the business side of it, like you guys probably do on this podcast. We go through.
Thank you.
We go through all the business side, distribution sometimes. Not naming names completely, but I think when you're a young cheesemaker out there or a new cheese shop, you're trying to learn who's who, and so we really make it an educational resource as well as slightly entertaining thing that people can joke around about with cheese. Which it's fun to do that, and like I was telling you guys before, I really love learning new stuff from everyone. Sometimes there's even terminology the Jane Quick was on. She's an English cloth-bound cheddar producer the other day, and she was just talking about jurat and territorials and all these English cheese phrases that I was just like, whoa, Jane, slow the hell down.
Yeah.
What was that word you just said? Because I've been in cheese 15 years now, CCP certified. I don't know that word. So, I mean, again, it's for the curd nerds, but also just sustainability stories come out. It's, family, building community, added value product, all these cool things that I don't even intend to have happen, but they come up in the conversation. How, as a cheesemaker, dairy producer, are we beating climate change? I'm not a tech person, but that it always eventually evolves to that in the conversation. How are we, preventing, and most of the time it comes out with the jokes about cows farting and stuff like that, which is because, methane.
Bum.
Yeah, see?
Everybody loves a cow fart joke.
Yeah, sorry, guys. That's not so fun to hear.
So,
I hear they are working on that.
They are. Well, you can have,
or...
so the tractors are going to be powered by cows stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And
if they
West Home Wagyu,
if they eat seaweed or kelp, they have less gas emissions.
It 60%, which is huge.
Yeah, I mean, so this is like the kind of cool stuff.
Wouldn't that be a fun job to have you go out in the field and be like, wait, this cow only farted 6 times today while we did kelp diet. This one farted 10 times today.
I'm a cow fart counter.
This podcast is officially hit of all-time low. We're talking about cow farts here on
This is our 5th
Insiders.
recording of the day, and we're tired.
So I have a question, and I'm almost asking this in an embarrassed sense because I know they both come from kind of the north of Paris. They're both 100% cow milk, but what's the difference between Camembert and Brie?
Oh no,
that's a great question.
That's
John.
a really good question.
Yeah, they are.
And I never thought about it until we're sitting here talking.
So yeah, it's regional because Brie comes from, technically, if you were looking at a terroir map of France, it's Ile-de-France, and then Camembert is from Normandy, so it's further northwest.
Okay.
But I will say that besides both having like a white rind, which is what everyone sees, and it's cow's milk, those are the only 2 things in common. So the rind is a penicillin candidum rind, a bloomy rind is what we call it in cheese world. And then the thing that really sets them apart is in the cheese making process. So the difference is in the way the curds are cut. Camembert has a large curd cut, and so it's more loosey-goosey, where the Brie is cut smaller into like, not pea size, but it's smaller than the way the Camembert is cut. So it's more dense.
Like more sliceable versus a Camembert, which is like more
creamy, gooey.
Yeah, just overall, the Camembert will be more gooey.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really down. And then, of course, where the milk is sourced, the shape of the molds even will affect the texture and the shelf life and the taste. So again, the Brie can be in a 1 kilo size, 2.2 pounds, 3 kilos. 6.6, and then with Camembert, it's more like an 8.8 ounce, or like maybe wheels. No, that's it, 8.8. That's the AOP.
Camembert is only AOP is only in that one size form.
Yeah. And if it's a true AOP Camembert, it has to be raw milk.
Got it.
Hand ladled in like certain timed increments.
But you can't get that in the U.S.
Unfortunately not. I wish if you guys want to start working on legislation with me to change that one day.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
You prefer one over the other?
I love Camembert, and especially if you're getting the real deal in France or where it's allowed.
I mean, we still try to make one with Isigny Sainte-Mère. We still try to make one as funky and as cool as we can without breaking laws. So we add some geotrichum to ours, and it has kind of like a funky yeasty thing with the penicillin candidum, and it has some of that straw-like yeast flavor going on, whereas other guys just kind of copycat their Brie recipe and make it smaller and don't actually do anything different to their recipes. Yeah, I mean, you could look at most people's catalogs and see, oh, they just did a size difference. They didn't actually do a recipe change.
I love that. I feel like I'm in like a safe space to ask all these cheese questions.
So I have like a really...
Oh, you have one? Because I have one.
Pedestrian question.
No, I'm here for it, yeah.
I'm scared to ask.
Go. I told you this is a safe space.
If you have a penicillin allergy,
ask all your cheese questions, Andrea.
I did it. I asked.
Yes. Yeah. I have heard nothing in my 15 years in cheese. I have never heard of anyone having an allergic reaction to that.
Okay.
But if it happens to you, let me know.
I will.
I'm going to ask another dumb question related. I'm just going to kind of.
Did you just say my question was dumb?
Yeah. I'm going to. No, I said I have a dumb question that I'm going to piggyback off of your really.
Dumb question.
Smart question. No, I didn't think it was dumb at all.
No, because I always wondered, like,
no,
because sometimes when you have allergies,
100%,
you don't like a food and it's your body's way.
Your question was totally legit. My question's a little kookier along the same lines because I've always thought about this. Does eating cheese with the penicillin bacteria, is it actually good for you because it's almost like penicillin?
Question.
I always wonder that.
So if you're sick, you should eat it?
No, I'm just wondering if it enhances your
I think that's a great
immune
question.
system.
So I will say that I think like with yogurt, cheese is similar. There's probiotics, there's microbiology in the rinds and the cheese. So it makes you healthier if you're sensible and have only like a few ounces a day. I think like I never get sick. And people always are like, why don't you ever get sick? I'm like, I think it's because I eat cheese, which is a weird thing to say. But I mean, I don't have the science to back it up, but I do believe like, yeah, I think you're okay. I think it helps you.
Okay, my next question
It's 5:05.
Oh, okay, last question for me.
Oh, no, this was too fast.
I know, we have to do this again.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I'm down.
What's a triple cream cheese?
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite.
Oh, what is it exactly?
Yeah, what makes it a triple cream? Is Brie and Camembert both triple cream or double cream?
They're double creams. And I think you can often see that on the packaging. That's one thing we should bring up for if we do another cheese episode is how you read the packaging. Brie is 60% butter fat. It's a double creme, whereas the triple cremes are 72 and higher. So they're just...
So it just has to do with the fat content of the milk?
Yeah, the butter fat,
The
exactly.
butter fat content of the milk.
Yeah.
Does Isigny make a...
We don't have the machines to make it. We've been asked several times because people love our cheese and they love the quality of the cheese. And we don't have the machines for it. And
What's your favorite then?
What's my favorite, like, of the bries?
Of the triple creams.
Of the triple cream. Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I actually like a local one.
Oh.
There's one called made by Nettle Meadow in upstate New York.
Kunik.
It's called Kunik.
Yep.
Yeah, Kunik.
And I think that's a slamming version
goat.
of it. Well, no, it's a mix.
I know.
So three
it's
milks.
interesting.
What's
So maybe I do like it.
Briat Savarin?
Briat Savarin's just cow, and it's
That's my fave.
That's
the
a triple?
producer is Dylan. Yeah, that's definitely triple
That's a
crumb.
nice cheese.
I like Saint Andre too.
Yeah, that's also triple crumb. But
Okay,
I mean,
I
if
lied.
you did a vertical line of triple cremes and tasted them back to back, they would all have differences. There would be
Of
like
course,
a salt
Briat
difference, or
Savarin to me is stronger than a Saint Andre.
Sorry, I know we're out of time, but
It's okay.
No, it's
there's
okay.
one cheese made
I
in
wanna know about the
America,
packaging.
one of my favorite cheeses in the world.
Okay.
It's called Grayson.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
Tell
like
me,
that one.
what is this?
Is it is that Jasper Hills?
No.
it's
So
down
that's
in Virginia or somewhere.
Meadow
in-
Creek.
Yeah.
So see, I guess I do know something.
You know
know-
a little
you know-
bit.
you know a little.
No.
Meadow Creek, which is made in Galax, Virginia, is a washed rind cow's milk cheese that's kind of semi-firm. But what I like about it is that it's very beefy. Like you could almost substitute that for a meat, I would say.
Whoa.
Because it's just enough. But we didn't talk about washed rinds, and again, we could save
Yeah.
that for a later time. But I love washed rinds. That's what
Yeah.
an Apoisse is.
Sure.
I'm trying to think what other very cool washed rinds. Right now, it is late in the day, so I can't remember one
Like
off the top.
Latour?
No, Latour is a
Interesting.
Geotrichum mixed milk cheese from Italy.
Interesting.
And it's basically like the cupcake of cheeses. Like
Taleggio?
Taleggio's a washed rind. There
Yes,
you go.
Mahone?
There you go.
Mahon's just a dry aged. I think it's cow's milk from
Spanish
Spain. Yeah.
with wine. That might be wine.
I don't even know what that
Washed.
texture of that
I think
rind
it's
is
a
exactly.
wine- I think it's a-
not. It's
Right?
not waxed. It's a natural rind. Honestly,
Okay.
it is a
I think
natural
it's a-
rind.
It's not a wine brushed rind or
I
something.
don't
What
think
about
so. They add
Boucheron?
some. Boucheron is a goat's milk cheese with the bloomy rind,
Yeah.
but it comes
Okay.
in that cool
That
log.
cool log.
Which is why its name is Boucheron. Bouche Noel.
Yeah.
So
Got
it's
it.
That
Yeah,
whole
that's
thing.
fair. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done with my
I
dumb
can't think of another
questions.
wash rind cheese other than Apoisse and Taleggio.
There's more Paul Levesque actually.
Paul
Ah.
Levesque.
Yeah, that's the classic, one of the classics. And that again, it's that pave tile size.
Yeah.
And it means like bridge. So, again, I love the French cheese because they all have like the symbolism in the names, or it's the village name, or it's just more sensible than like American cheese.
I wish we
names.
had more cheeses in America.
was
Like I
gonna say,
love
like,
when you
when
go
was-
to, if you ever are lucky enough to go to Paris and visit a cheese shop, it's just like
Heaven.
jaw drop.
Right.
And look at all of these young, even though Andrew doesn't like them, look at all these young goat
we're gonna
cheeses.
convert her. I
of
can't even.
Of every, like,
No.
this is 5 days old, this is 15 days, 30 days, and it's like, oh, I just want them all.
Yeah. And in different shapes and sizes based on the villages. It's like that's how they have like 100 of them in.
We
I
could-
would love to find things that
We
I
could
like.
just talk about Italian cheese as a whole other episode. Now
Oh
I know why you
gosh.
have a podcast called Cutting the
Cutting the
Curd.
Curd.
Oh,
There's
thank you,
obviously
guys.
a million
Yeah.
things to talk about with cheese. I love cheese.
Well, it
Me
allows for
too.
travel, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
I also get to travel the world, like learning about cheese. Like,
Well, if you need bag carriers,
Yeah.
we're available.
all right. Well, if you'll eat goat cheese.
This has been awesome. I
Yeah,
will
thank
eat
you,
the goat
Cara.
cheese. I will say
Yeah,
no
John
to no
can
cheese.
hang out with
Thank
me.
you.
We'll
Thank
John's
you,
not gonna
Cara.
carry your
Italy,
bag.
where they
Thank
have
you.
a
I'll
lake.
carry her bag.
Oh
Kidding
my
me? I'm a
God.
gentleman.
He actually is a gentleman. I will say that.
Really?
Should
You-
I-
Yeah, you
Oh,
always
thank
let
you.
me in the door
Oh,
first.
Oh,
that's so
thank you.
sweet.
He's
Should I
sweet.
mention like where they can find?
Yes.
Okay, so you can find me at Cara Warren. You can find the show at Cutting the Curd, and you can find Isigny at Isigny America.
Or chefswarehouse.com.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Ingredient Insiders. Follow us on Instagram at Ingredient Insiders. You can find the products we discussed on today's episode at chefswarehouse.com or at your favorite specialty retailer.